we're good. Hey, we're online. So, hello everybody watching on YouTube or Facebook. I'm Charlie from Cooking Teach for Men, and I'm pleased to be joined with Ron from Ron on the Grill.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
yeah, I'm glad you could do this.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, good. So, I looked at your intro on your about page on YouTube. I think is
Right.
one of the most concise, well written, and informative intros. That I mean, it gets right to the point. It doesn't mess around. It says, I'm not in the barbecue business. I'm not a grill master, not a pit master. I don't enter competitions. You
Right.
do everything on your Weber 22-inch kettle.
Yeah.
Um, Share your passion for grilling and smoking in the backyard. People have the same love. I don't consider myself a professional. I like to think that I'm no longer a beginner either. I've learned a few things along the way that'll help people new to grilling, blah, blah. So in a way, we're similar because I don't consider myself a professional at all, but I've learned from years of doing most of the family cooking
Yeah.
that I've learned some shortcuts. I've learned some ways to expedite and make things better. So tell me a little bit about how you started. You decided that, hey, making YouTube videos is something I think I should be doing.
It's I've had a YouTube channel before, a long time ago, back when all you had to do to get monetized was get 1,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, I had a YouTube channel. I work in the music ministry at my church, and I've done that since a young boy. So this channel was a channel where I would just come on, push play, and talk about music ministry,
Sure.
And so I was comfortable behind the camera, and I was getting to a place with grilling and smoking that I felt like I was good enough to be putting stuff on YouTube, and I'd already done some editing, so it just felt like the next natural progression to start a channel and just share something that I'm doing just about on a weekly basis anyway. That's the most important thing, I think. If somebody wants to start a channel, is you better pick something that you're passionate about and that you would do anyway, because it's that little 5 minutes you see on YouTube is about 8-10 hours worth of work behind the scenes. So it's
preaching to the choir on that one.
Boy, I know. So if you start a channel, make it something that you're passionate about, because it's no guarantee. It's you're up against major odds, major numbers and stuff like that. Most people that start a channel stop before they ever get the momentum going. So it's got to be something that you can stick to and keep doing, because when you first jump in there, the editing is going to kick your butt. And then when you start to get your head around that, then you'll be obsessing about the numbers. So it's just very important to me that I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, and that I'm going to be doing whether the channel goes up in flames or not.
Well, you hit a couple of high notes for me. Is it's something you're passionate about, and for watching your channel for a couple of years now, it's clear that you are both knowledgeable and passionate about what you do. I mean, it shows very clearly to me. You're not out there just mailing it in. You're not just slapping stuff together. It's stuff that you, like I said, you'd probably be doing it anyway. So
that's exactly right. And I had already done it for a while anyway. Before I started having it. I tell you what pushed me over and said maybe I should start a channel. I was, I get on Facebook and get on Google and stuff like that, and just try to increase my knowledge base. Join a good group, a Facebook group, and started just trying to see how to get better at things and learn more. So my family, and I think a lot of Black people in particular, weren't big turkey eaters for the holidays. We never made turkey. We would always get the shank ham.
Right.
So we never made turkey. So long story short, just from being in the group and making my way around YouTube, I started seeing these guys making these amazing turkeys on the grill. And I said, man, I want to try that. I went to my wife and I said, I really want to try to do this on the grill. Long story short, I dry brined it for 3 days, put it on the grill, and it was just amazing. I just didn't.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea turkey could be moist and juicy and taste good or anything. So, but I recorded that. I recorded that whole thing just to play it on Facebook. I wasn't planning. I wasn't even thinking about a YouTube channel back then. But that's kind of the catalyst to how it got started.
Yeah, the whole turkey thing is interesting because there's you can see all kinds of videos I've gotten to. It's I don't grill it, but I spatchcock it and brine it, and then cook it flat, and it cooks in half the time.
Right.
And I'd never had it so juicy and tender before.
It's crazy.
But I'm sorry.
Who knew? It's crazy. I mean, who knew?
But what you're saying is great. I see stuff that people do go, oh, I'd like that. I mean, I've done videos, and Tom Garvey is one, John Shields, and Cooking Around the World's another one. I see stuff they do and said, oh, I'd like to do that. So it's an homage to them to say, hey, you did something that's really interesting. Tom did one. Tom Garvey. Do you know Tom Garvey?
His name sounds very familiar. Yeah,
he's the keto cook. Anyway, he did one which was. He took spaghetti squash, and instead of roasting the whole thing, cut it into a little, like 1-inch rounds, and then roasted those and put them in the freezer, so they're ready to go.
Yeah,
I said, okay, well that's pretty cool. So I did it so I could have those in the freezer. But I do see people do stuff and then go, that's pretty damn cool. I like that. Yeah. And then try to do it. But also, I always want to give them credit because we're, in meeting with you and getting to know you a little bit better. We're not really competitors. It's not like these are my people and you can't have them. It's, we're in an area where we want to, I want to help everybody. And it's not that I expect anything. I think it's good to be altruistic and say, hey, let's chat and get to know each other a little bit better and then find out what makes you tick and it just makes it easier to you see videos and somebody a little bit better. You go, oh, I know where that came from. I remember that.
Right. I think one of the coolest things for me is going and watching other guys in the space, checking out their channels and watching their videos and commenting back and forth and talking shop. And now that I've been doing it for a couple of years, I got a few people that I know, and I just I think it's the coolest thing in the world, man. Yeah. I got some people that I'm fans of, so it's. I don't get the whole bravado side of the thing, That's the side of the barbecue space that irritates me. These guys that says I'm the elitist and what I cook on is the only thing that's valid, and the way I cook it is the only thing that's valid.
Right.
I can't stand it, man. So
if there was one way to do it, everybody do it.
Yeah.
I very facetiously say I'm an internationally known YouTube chef. And the reason you can say that is because, I got friends in Australia, New Zealand, and in Asia, so in UK. So I'm internationally known.
That's the truth. No lies detected.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of goofy to say it, but I say that to my wife all the time. She says, "Oh, this is really nice." I said, "Well, dear, I am an internationally known YouTuber."
I love it.
So you're in. For those of you just joining us, this is Ron on the Grill. Ron, you're in the Dallas area, right?
D-Town.
And Ron has a great YouTube channel, mostly around barbecuing and smoking on his Weber kettle. Yeah. Another thing that you were just kind of speaking to is there are people that say, I'm using my blah blah 1800 blah blah whatever machine. It's like, you're preaching to a group this small when you start talking about specifics on the different types of grills and stuff. You say Weber kettle, okay, everybody knows that, but I don't know, I just don't get the whole different thing because you're really not. you're preaching to such a small segment of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's and it's so funny that you should say that, because I'm always cognizant of that in the language that I'm using in my videos, you know, because there's only we're gonna go, you know, barbecuers are gonna go watch other barbecues videos and stuff, but that's a small segment of the people that you want to reach, unless that's all you're doing the channel for, you know.
Right.
But so I try to be cognizant of the language I use. You know, I wanna keep things approachable and simple, and I want people to be able to understand, because, you know, guys like me and you, I mean, you when you see what I'm doing, you're gonna know. But people that are beginners, or people that are just trying to watch good content, won't really know that or appreciate that or care. You know, I don't care what model you're cooking on, you know.
Right. I do have a couple written down of some of my favorites that you've done, so we'll talk about them in a little bit. But I mean, there's some of them that are just, I'd say, oh wow, that is so cool.
Appreciate that.
Tell me, what do you do for a living besides make YouTube videos?
I work in the lawn care business. I work for a lawn care company. We don't do the mowing and raking stuff like that. I mean, we're the side of it that makes it green and pretty and all of that. We take care of your trees and shrubs, and your lawn. We diagnose diseases and all kinds of stuff, insects and stuff. So it's pretty involved. I've been doing that for a long time.
I know that, you know, I've had when I had a house, I used to have a lawn care company. They were so expensive. I said, all right,
yeah,
I can do part of this myself. Yeah. I can certainly cut my own grass. I did need help every once in a while, but it's a great, especially in an area that has a lot of people that have, you know, nice lawns. They want to keep them nice, and they just don't have the time. So it's I was thinking today, since we just moved here to this condo, and I said to my wife, as we were driving through Home Depot, I said, you know, this will be the first year in like 25 years I don't have to buy any mulch.
Oh, I hate that so much. I'm because I have a lot of beds around the house. I'm kind of into landscaping and stuff like that. And so every year I have to cart a bunch of bags of mulch home. So I think I'm gonna farm that out this year and just pay somebody.
I had a woman who was a gardener who helped me out every year. She'd come by, and her name was Lisa. And Lisa she'd put down the mulch. I mean, I didn't have a big yard. In my house, instead of setting lengthwise, was turned 90 degrees. So the front door was in the center. And so it was a very narrow yard, but it was also a very long yard. So on the long side, there was a lot of flower beds and a lot of mulch. And I got, for some reason, I get into the Scott's colored black mulch.
Mm-hmm. I like the black stuff too.
Yeah. So, but when you use it, it's, you know, it's all in your fingers, and, you know, so then I had to start using gloves, and then they got all black, and I said, Lisa, you mind doing the mulch this year? And she did.
You know, we're talking about the color black, and it just I was watching a couple of your other interviews the other day, and the color black makes me think of the last one I was watching with Black Iowa. And I thought it was hilarious that somebody brought up the point that he's not black or from Iowa. I thought it was hilarious.
He's one of my favorites. He's another one that just, you know, he's having fun.
Yeah.
He's not a gourmet. He's having fun. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah.
He's had and if you're watching this, Matthew, Black Iowa, you know, hope everything's okay. He usually puts a video out every Sunday, and last one he had said, you know, having some family issues and won't be having a video. And I've emailed him and haven't heard back. So, you know, best thoughts and wishes to my boy Black Iowa.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a funny guy, and he's a Chiefs fan too. So he's like on top of the world.
Yeah.
So I know we've talked here and there. You're not really a sports guy. You're not a Cowboys fan.
I mean, I believe you root for the home team and everything, but I'm not a sports fanatic in the way that most guys are. Okay. I just didn't grow up in that environment. Right. I was my family is a very musically inclined family, so I was always drawn to music and stuff like that. My father was he wasn't a huge, I don't remember him being a huge sports fanatic in the sense that we would talk about it, and that's usually where you learn about sports from.
Sure.
Either there or playing sports in school. So I did neither one of those. I was in the stands playing music for the guys that were.
So you're a musician, or you're musically inclined?
Yeah. My whole family is musically inclined. We just have the ear for it. So
one of the things Black Eye was a musician too.
Yeah.
So we were kind of joking. He said, "Well, we should have a YouTube band get together somehow." So might have. What do you play?
Keys.
Keys. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let him know. And Tom Garvey's a drummer.
Wow.
So we
the band is shaping up.
Getting a quartet getting together.
Yeah.
Figures on that. All right. That's pretty funny. That would be really funny if they had a YouTube band where you guys were playing, in different quadrants on the screen, and
Hey man, we have the technology now.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you and Black Iowa play the same type of music. I'm guessing.
I'm thinking probably not. But
I'm
not
a heavy metal guy.
I like all kinds of stuff. I don't think there's any keyboards in those bands.
Not a lot of keyboards in the heavy metal bit. Not Metallica doesn't have a keyboard.
No, I don't think so.
Megadeth.
I know those names, man.
Oh, sure. We're all on the Hall of Fame. So do you do most of the stuff yourself? I know, and one of the things that I thought was amazing, the videos that you put out, they're all you shoot them on your iPhone.
Yeah.
And the quality and the consistency, and I think we've talked about this, is that's one of the things that iPhone does very well. So you get a great, product, and but talk about that a little bit. So that's pretty amazing to me.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I don't do anything special. It's not. I've told you, it's not even a new iPhone. It's an old iPhone. They're on like 14 now. This is an iPhone 11. So, I just I try to be intentional about the shots that I take, and I think other than that, that's the only thing I'm doing. I didn't go in the back end and adjust any settings and stuff. I just point the camera.
Right.
I make sure I'm in landscape mode, and I make sure I do something intentional in every video to make it better than just real time talking and pointing the camera.
Well, the attention to detail shows out for me in that I'm sure the editing helps. But it's there's a way that you do things that it's pretty clear that you've either thought it out or which is the best way to go on a certain show or certain video.
Right. Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's we already touched on the amount of work it takes to do that. So to have it appreciated or recognized means a lot. Yeah.
I'm in the process of I usually take 3 days to edit a video, because first I have to put on, and then after I put the segments together, I start trimming and chopping, and then I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. And then you trim a little bit more, and then you put in the graphics, because for some reason when you put in the graphics, things get chopped out. The dialogue and some of the audio goes away when I delete something that I don't like. So it's just there's a commonality to how I do it. And then on the third day, then I go through it again, try to figure out. But it does take 3 days.
Right.
So I'm starting on one that I'd like to get. Oh, it has to be done next week, but I'm headed out of town. I'm headed Texas, actually.
Oh, cool.
Headed down to San Antonio for my wife's got a conference to go to.
Amarillo by morning.
And she broke, so she can't use her right hand. So I have to help her get dressed. I have to help her do things. So I said, I'll go to San Antonio. It's 30 degrees here and snowing, and it's 80 degrees there. So I can stomach a week and or 4 or 5 days in San Antonio.
You could suffer through that.
That's right. That's right. I've never been there. I've been to Dallas. I've been to Austin. Never been to San Antonio. So nice. I hear it's very nice.
It's cool.
So what other social media site? I know you mentioned Facebook. You're on Facebook and Instagram, or just Facebook?
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Tried Twitter. Yeah. I'll run on the grill.
Okay.
Tried Twitter for a minute, but it didn't.
I've had no success on Twitter.
Nah.
I can't figure it out. I'm sure there's a way to get more file. I haven't really done much to it. My way of doing things is I have a website, which are all the recipes are written. I got YouTube, then I'm all on all the social medias, but I've pretty much decided that Pinterest, it's not for me. Facebook, I'm trying to drive everything to YouTube. So my blog, my website, I drive to YouTube. Facebook, I drive to YouTube. But Instagram is interesting because you can't really put links in. I mean, you can put them in, but they don't. There's no, don't tap the link and you don't go anywhere. It's just you have to copy it and then put it in. So it's not very helpful.
You can put a live link in your profile,
right? But not on the individual posts. And it's just, I don't know. So I used to get hundreds of thumbs up on Instagram, and now I'm down in the teens and the 20s.
Right.
And I got 3,500 followers there, and I said, y'all just don't like me anymore. Oh, that reminds me of a point that you made earlier. I wanted to get back to.
Yeah.
So one of the things you said about people on YouTube is it's hard, and a lot of people quit before they get the momentum going.
Yeah.
So I go through probably every quarter or 6 months or so, and chop out all the channels where people haven't made a video in 6 to 9 months. And you'd be amazed at the people that were really gung-ho and then just haven't done anything.
Yeah. I went to a channel recently, and so I watched a video, and it was great. And I went down there to leave a comment, and I realized that the video was like 5 years old. The guy hadn't posted anything else. Yeah.
Well, it's too bad because there's a couple of them. There's a guy who was Matt, the kitchen mechanic. He's a nice guy. He was a mechanic, and he was good, but he only had a couple hundred followers. And he's one of the guys who will always comment and give me a thumbs up on Instagram. But he stopped doing YouTube because he just wasn't getting any traction. And there was another. What was this guy's name? I can't remember. The same thing. He just stopped, and I thought he was great. He was a barbecue guy too.
Yeah.
But if they're not getting any traction, I guess they're not seeing any results. And you're putting a lot of time and effort, like we've just discussed. A couple days to do editing and putting everything together. I guess you have to see a little success to move on.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. People just get discouraged, but they get discouraged too early, I think.
I think that. And then you have to have a strategy on what you want to do and how you want to get there. I mean, that was clear to me, because when I first started doing videos, no clue what I was doing. I mean, they were horrible. I mean, they're like slapping stuff together. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I think I did, the first one I did was how to slice an onion. And then I did how to cut an avocado. And I look back and just kind of cringe. not not very good and not very well. I mean, I shot them on my phone, and um, I don't even know how I edited them, but it wasn't good. Anyway, um, so are you? I'm going to guess not, but are you an Amazon affiliate with any of this stuff?
I put the first one up there way too early because I just didn't have the traffic. But I just stuck it up there again. So we'll see what happens. But I'm looking to right now. It's just all about getting a nice catalog of recipe videos. Like that was the most important thing I wanted to do. I don't want to get into any unboxings or any reviews or anything like that. I want people to come there and see some cooking. So my first 100 videos were recipes, and I'm still doing that. I backed down first when I first jumped out there. I was trying to do one every week, and I realized that it wasn't sustainable, and I was kind of taking shortcuts. And then I got to thinking, can somebody really do you really need a video every week from a guy? Like, are you going to watch, even if your favorite barbecue channel, are you going to watch a video from him every week? Like, can you consume that much?
Right.
So it becomes something that you have to make a choice about, like, can I sustain that? Do I have to sustain that? And the answer was for me, no. So right. Now I switch back to every other week, and it gives me more time. And between long form videos, I put out some shorts. But yeah, I mean, the every other week is working a lot better for me.
I've tried to do the shorts. I just don't have the wherewithal.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are doing, the Dude is one, and Tom Garvey is another one, and
yeah,
it just ground them out. I don't know. I put them out. Sometimes they get thousands and thousands of views. Another time they get, less than 100. Yeah. So I don't understand why. And since I don't understand why, I just,
it's very fickle. I don't think there is a why. It's just very fickle like that, because it's the same thing for me. But it's about, the thing about YouTube is that the more you put content out there, the more people see it. And once somebody sees your videos, then it's in their recommendation. I mean, the algorithm is gonna put it in the recommendation. So that's the thing that makes the shorts worth doing for me, because they'll get you some views, they'll get you some subscribers, but really it's just about seeing my name come over there on the side of your screen, because you watched something of mine before,
So you mentioned something a minute ago, and I brought it up earlier. So some of the recipes that you had that I thought were both fascinating, fun, different, and interesting. So I've written them down. Okay. So one of the first ones I thought was a smoked banana splits.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. And the way that you did it was fun. How did you think about that? Was just something you said, let me try this?
Well, I was seeing a lot of videos where people were taking the banana splits and they were grilling them.
Uh-huh.
They were grilling them and doing these different little things with them. So I thought, what if I smoked one? Well, and then I had to think about, well, what would I smoke? I don't necessarily want to smoke the banana, but but I did. I ended up doing it. What would I do with it besides just grilling it on both sides and putting a bunch of stuff on it? So I wanted to try seeing if I could do it with a smoke. So then I had to figure out how I wanted to approach it, and so that's how it came about. I ended up just putting a handful of charcoal in there, just enough to put one chunk of wood on, so that I wasn't generating a whole lot of heat at all, and just left it in there for about 15-20 minutes. And I put the peanuts in there with it, and it turned out good. If I did it again, I would smoke the syrup though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was surprisingly good. Like, me and my wife both were. I'm not a big banana guy either, but it was very good.
I went to a restaurant with my son. He's down in St. Petersburg, and it was Vietnamese restaurant, and they had this. As I was looking at the menu, they had something called a banana spring roll. I said, I have no idea what I'm getting for dinner, but I'm getting that for dessert. And it was
Right.
a little triangle
Yeah.
of the wonton wrappers, and you took a little hunk of banana, put it in the middle, flapped it over, you fried it, took like 15 seconds on each side, and they were delicious. So I decided that, well, that's a video I'm going to make because I want to eat these things again.
But sometimes you'll get an idea, I think, from something else that you did. Like we were just talking about the banana split, and I told you I would smoke if I did it again, I would smoke the syrup. And like 2 seconds later, I was like, hey, what if I smoked some syrup and made some smoked hot chocolate, or something like that. So it's stuff like that that you just do for the novelty of it, I think.
Well, there's one that I remember you did, and it's not one that I had written down on my list, but you had grilled watermelon.
Yeah, now that's definitely out there,
Yeah, I mean but I think a lot of the fruits you can do that too. I've done grilled peaches all the time.
Yeah, they're great.
It's grilling fruits. People look at it like you're nuts, and you go, no, that's great. Trust me. And then when you put salt on it, then they really think you're nuts. No, trust me.
Grilled peaches, everybody needs to try once in their life, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Good grief.
All right, here's one that I thought was just fabulous, called bacon wrapped pickle fries.
Yeah, that wasn't original. I saw somebody do it on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. But I was skeptical, but it was good. What really makes it stand out though for me was the dip. We had some ranch dressing, and you put it in the ranch dressing, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah.
So they were just kosher pickles?
Yeah, I mean, we tried it a couple of different ways. We there's different flavors of pickles out there, so we tried a couple of different flavors and messed around with it, but it was good. And it was, as far as wrapping stuff in bacon goes, that's about as easy as it gets. I'm getting to the point, and I joke about this all the time, but I'm getting to the point where I'm sick and tired of wrapping stuff in bacon because it takes so long, man.
Yeah.
It's just not fun. I got this thing where I don't want to do anything that I don't enjoy. So I only want to keep it there's only so complicated I want to get. And there's only so much prep I want to do. So if the prep gets to the point where it's like, oh my God, I don't want to do the recipe because I'm dreading the prep, then I have to do something else. And I think, however, whatever makes you happy is what you should do, but the way you do it isn't the only way it can be done. Brisket people are fanatics, some of them, about a really complicated process, and everybody has their way of doing it, and I don't mind. If you like it, I love it. The only time I start to have a problem is when people start saying, this is the way I do it, so now this is the only valid way. This is the only way it should be done. And if you get to smoked brisket, tender smoked brisket is the goal. So if you get to it a different way than me, then yours is valid and mine is good. That's ridiculous.
Well, I think we have the same philosophy that you don't want to. It's so complicated that people can't follow, don't want to make it, and then just think, well, what, this doesn't make any sense to me. So I try to make things that are relatively simple that home cooks can do. I have done a few that are, on the upper stratosphere of stuff that I've done crown roasted pork, which I don't suggest for anybody to do. I mean, I love it and it's so good, but it's not easy. And then I went to a restaurant again with my son in St. Petersburg, a lot of good restaurants there, a place called The Library. And I had this dish that was short ribs on risotto. And it was one of the best meals I've ever had. And so
I know it was. If short ribs were involved, I know it was.
It was delicious. So what I did was, and I've done this several times and become a pest. I call the chef and say, "I use well, hey, I'm an internationally." Almost every time they'll tell you what.
Yeah.
What is this? Please ask them to stay in there. Okay, they're giving me some stupid notice here. We're good.
Okay.
So I asked the chef, and she was kind enough to not only call back but go step by step how she did it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, I'm going to cook it in the Instant Pot, which I'm sure you're not going to do. And I'm cooking risotto in a microwave, which I'm sure you're not going to do. But I had the flavor of it. But again, it was so many steps and was so complicated. I only did it because, I called the chef and, I decided I was going to make it. Yeah. But, those are the exception rather than the rule. Most of them are, kind of, and the series I've been doing with the cooking with leaders from Milwaukee, community leaders, they're picking the recipes. I'm just hanging on the back, sous chef, and then eating whatever they cook. So
okay, cool.
I'm not out there brainstorming on stuff. It's one of the greatest ruses I've ever put together. Yeah. Why don't you come over and bring a lot of stuff, and then you'll cook something. I'll help you out, and then we'll eat it.
Yeah.
And most of them are my friends, so they're all laughing about it anyway. But
yeah.
I just had one with a friend of mine. His name's Willie Hines, who he and I have become great friends. Our wives work together, and we go to these dinners, and they're out working the crowd somewhere, and we're sitting back just chatting about nothing. But he made Hoppin' John, which was so good. And it was, it's a simple, a lot of canned stuff. You use sweet baby Ray's barbecue sauce in there.
Yeah.
It's just it was so good. And I didn't have to do anything other than open the can of black eyed peas. That was my contribution. So for those of you just tuning in or wondering who the heck we are, I'm Charlie with Cooking Secrets for Men, and this is my friend Ron from Ron on the Grill. Ron's the great YouTube barbecue smoking guy, and his claim to fame, as far as I'm concerned, is he does everything on a Weber kettle, and makes no apologies about it. Though, and as I said earlier, if someone makes a better grilling, barbecuing implement than the Weber kettle, let me know about it.
If they do, it's probably a copy of the Weber kettle.
Absolutely.
And that's what's starting to happen right now. That's how you're starting to see people make kettles, because nobody's reinventing the wheels. So
right. Well, they probably lost the whatever copyright they had. So it's probably for however they copyrighted it and trademarked. Yeah, it's probably run out. They've been in business long enough. So let me see. Oh, here's another one that I definitely want to make when it comes when I get back to Michigan. So smoked jalapeno popper meatballs.
Yeah,
those just have to be fabulous.
They are fantastic. I haven't made them in a long time because the prep. I'm going to have to find an easier way to do it, because the prep on those it takes me a long time. A big part of it is that when I make it, I tend to make a lot of them.
Right.
So I made it. The first couple of times I did it, I used 3 pounds, and I just made like 30. You average about 8 to 10. In the size that I was making them, you average about 8 to 10 per pound. So I ended up making 28 to 30 of them. It just took a long time, but man, you got to do it. You got to do it even if you only make 10 of them.
One of the things I've had to learn moving from a house to an apartment and having 2 refrigerators and 2 freezers to just having one is scalability. You know, I can't cook the same way I used to, and cook a big batch and then freeze it all.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. So now I have to think. And when you started saying it, because when I make meatballs, when we make fresh pasta and meatballs, I only know how to do it. You buy a pound of ground beef, you buy a pound of sausage, you buy a pound of veal, you buy a pound of pork. So that's 4 pounds of meat.
Yeah.
So I got to start thinking scale. How do I scale this down a little bit? So that's that's an interesting concept, but that's part of, I understand the prep, and that is but I am going to try that this summer.
They're fabulous, man. They're fantastic.
I have my youngest son who's in Santa Fe, loves heat, and he's living in Hatch chili country. So the jalapeno poppers within the meatballs just would something he would probably eat about 20 of.
Yeah, no doubt.
Where's another one? Oh, leftover pulled pork baked potatoes.
That was that takes me back to the turkey story, because I had so much success with the turkey that I was already cooking anyway, so I started filming stuff, so I started filming stuff a good 2 or 3 years before I started the channel, and then after I started the channel, I went back and got it. So that video was shot a good 3 years. That video was shot, a good 3 years. I was about 50 pounds heavier in that video, and the whole house was different inside. You can compare. If you look behind me in that video, and look behind me in some of the more recent videos, the wall that I was standing in front of isn't even there anymore. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing to look back and see. But it was like 2 or 3 of them that I 2 or 3 cooks. Some of them I couldn't find the videos anymore. I couldn't find the footage anymore because I had an even older phone back then. But
so they were just stored on your phone.
They were just stored on my phone up in the cloud. So there was only 4 people here, so it just made a ton of pulled pork. So I just had to we ate all the pulled pork sandwiches we could stand. We still had a whole lot left, so I had to figure out something to do with it. And I started out trying to make some pulled pork chili, and then I ended up with something that would be good on baked potatoes. So that's kind of how that came together.
Yeah, that's using, to me, there's 2 things that show you're a good cook. It's the use of leftovers to make something that's tasty, and then opening up the fridge, looking in and saying, I got that. Let me make something out of that. I mean, those 2 skills, to me, show creativity, the ability to just, think on your feet, and, make something that's decent instead of, going, calling, getting a pizza, which we did last night. I doctored it. Well, I don't cook on Fridays. I rarely cook on Fridays. It's usually either grazing or go out. It's not a night frame. So when it sounds like you cook a lot for pleasure. Do you cook something and then decide, I should make a video out of this? Or is it the video's more thought out process?
It's a thought out process. I tell you what happens a lot though. Sometimes it's important to me to keep my passion for doing it and make sure that it just doesn't become work, which it can because of the editing process and the whole process of film and stuff. Right. I do so on a fairly regular basis. I go out and barbecue, and I just don't film it at all. But I usually end up wishing I'd filmed it. but that's something that's important to me, So I film. I mean, I cook for the pleasure of it and make sure that I don't record it,
Oh, that's my wife says all the time. She'll be eating dinner. Says, "Oh, you should have made a video out of this." I said, well, yeah, a little late now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that I do it, but I always regret it. It should have. I mean, I should have made that. I should have filmed it. But it's a job. You know, I think it's very important to keep a balance between the between just protecting your passion for whatever it is you're doing videos about, and making sure you make content. You know.
So, what's for dinner tonight?
I have not figured that out. I haven't figured that out.
We're going to a friend's house for dinner. They're cooking, so
yeah,
I don't really care. And they're great cooks, so whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be fabulous.
I got some ribs in there. I could make it happen. But if I did that, and I'd be looking to do something different. I've been trying to experiment with ribs too.
So are you a cook on the grill, smoke? Are you cook in the oven and then finish them on the grill? Kind of rib guy.
I'm gonna do it on the grill guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it I do the whole thing on the grill. I tell you what I will do. I tell you what I will finish in the oven, and it goes back to the conversation we've been having. I will finish a brisket in the oven. You know, I'll smoke it for 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, or whatever, and then I'll put it in a pan, cover that with foil, and finish it in the oven.
And you get a lot of juices.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw a video just the other day when I was doing prep to make sliders for the Super Bowl. And I was looking at other recipes, and I saw a couple of guys. They were taking their beef that they had smoked, and then they were pouring beef broth into the pan. And I was like, well, I was thinking to myself, you don't have to do that if you just put it in the pan in the first place. It'll give you all the beef broth you want, you know. So I smoked a couple of Chuckies for the Super Bowl, and I did the same process that I do with brisket. I smoke it for a number of hours, and then when it gets to the point where it's time to wrap, I don't wrap it. I don't wrap the Chucky. I don't wrap the meat. I put it in a pan and then put foil over the top of the pan. You know, even whether I leave it on or whether I leave it on the grill or take it inside, that's the process. And the first time I did that with brisket, it was just the flavor from that juice was just amazing.
Sure.
And when I did it with the chuck roast, it was the same thing. All I had to do was take it out of the oven and shred it, and all of the juice was already there, and it was juice that came from the beef that I smoked. So it was far better than what you could than anything I was going to get out of a can.
So what percentage would you say you're cooking outside on the grill and inside on the stove, in the oven?
It's 90-10 now. You know, my wife does most of the cooking inside. I used to do more cooking inside, but now I'm cooking a lot outside now. You know, I think
she's the main cook.
I mean, she would tell you I cook more than she does. Yeah, but yeah, it's a good balance though.
Oh, my wife is an excellent cook, but she's still working, and I'm not sure. I'm retired. I have no idea when she keeps pushing her retirement date back and back and back. Now it's supposed to be the end of this year. No, actually, it was supposed to be May of this year because she has a milestone birthday. And then she said, well, maybe it'll be the end of the year. And they are in the process of they're rehabbing a building down in the center of town. It's an old department store that they're moving there. She works for the Greater Milwaukee Foundation.
Yeah.
And so they're moving the Greater Milwaukee Foundation into this building with the Medical College of Wisconsin. And then some of their neighborhood related health determinant offices. And so they're going to have like a combination, trying to work within the community. But she said, you know, she's been heading up this whole process for 2 years. And she says, I'm not retiring till not only is the building finished, but I get to go in and work there. And I just don't want to work there for a day. I want to work there for, 3 to 6 months. So I'm thinking, Jesus Christ. So now it's probably mid 24 before she's going to retire. So I do a lot more videos.
You love what you do. It's not work, I guess.
She's very good at it. She loves what she does. And and they're in the middle of a campaign, multi-million-dollar campaign for the foundation, and then the rehabbing of the building has been two major things.
Yeah.
So she's a community leader. I joke. I said you're going to be on the show at some point. With me. There you go.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that this is a busy time for me because somehow I determined years ago that I should put out a Mardi Gras video, a St. Patrick's Day video, and a St. Valentine's Day video. And, those are okay. But then I do these monthly international collabs with a very great group. We do a different country every month,
right?
And then I have the community leaders on Saturday mornings here. So this has been compressed, where I'm feeling a little strained around the edges. And then I've got. Luckily, I don't have to edit any of this stuff,
right?
But and then I'm going away for 4 or 5 days, so I've been trying to get as much done as possible. So I feel kind of up against the wall on some of it, but things will. And then we're going to Italy in May. So all I know is I will take my camera and I'll make some. I'll take some pictures in Italy, but I'm never making any videos there that are of any import.
Right. So relax, man.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you gotta be on vacation from the.
We're going to. So are you a movie person at all? Are you TV? You got secret TV shows that you watch that no one should know that you're watching, like
not
Emily
really.
in Paris or something?
Oh, not really. My wife and I watched a couple of game shows that we like. We enjoy watching America Says. It's so fun, but she's always talking me into watching a movie with her. So yeah,
we try to watch the Oscar movies, the Oscar nominated movies. Hold on just a second. My list. Tell you what not to watch.
Okay.
I love The Fabelmans. I saw Top Gun. That's not going to win. What was the other one we saw? Oh, the one with the Triangle of Sadness with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
That's a strange one. I don't think that's going to win.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of it. So that's one of the things we'll do on the weekend is pick out a movie so when we watch the Oscars, you can say, "Oh yeah, I saw that movie." All right, at least have a modicum of at least have seen some of them and understand why they are where they aren't. So what is your wife work?
She does. She is a hairstylist. She's been doing that for over 20 years now, way before I met her.
So she has her own chair in a place?
Yeah.
Good.
There's a regular clientele. She keeps busy.
And my wife just, since we moved, she found someone close to here that she really likes. She wasn't real crazy about the woman that she was dealing with up the road a little bit. And so I think the chemistry that you have in that business is so important. You have to,
it is.
You walk a fine line between being too chatty and too friendly and not friendly enough.
Yeah.
So the people that are successful, and it sounds like your wife is one of those people, you've got to, be even keeled on those parts. You just can't talk about politics and talk about, religion and race. You got to leave that stuff over there somewhere.
Many of her clients, though, she's been doing for years and stuff like that. So
it's a great business. So do you get to travel at all?
We don't. No, we don't.
No.
We don't. We haven't had an opportunity to travel much. We took a drive down to Austin for our honeymoon and stuff like that. We've been trying to get back there ever since, but we haven't gone anywhere since we've been married.
I think Austin's I like Austin.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, I haven't been there. God, it's been, I hate to say how long it's been a long time. But it was just it was a fun city. It was interesting. It was, I guess, a medium size. It wasn't too big. It wasn't too small. It had obviously a lot of good food places all over. Music scene is wonderful there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have Austin City Limits on television for 30 years if it wasn't.
That's right.
And then it was at a swim meet at the University of Texas. My sister swam. I was a coach.
Yeah.
It was nationals were at UT. And I just remembered it was a great town. Well, Ron, we've been on this for about an hour, jabbering at each other. It's been a blast. I appreciate you taking the time here.
No problem.
Yeah, it's been. It
was an honor to be. It was an honor to be asked to do it, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you saying that, but it's there's people that I want to get to know better. I think it serves a purpose for both of us, but it also, it's on a personal note. I'm glad that we've had a chance to kind of get a little more information about each other, and I get to tell you about some of the. I didn't even get to what did I miss? The one that I'm definitely going to be doing this smoked peach bourbon naked beans. Just the name is great.
It's baked beans, right?
Yeah, those are baked beans. So if you have a chance to check out Ron's channel, he's got a lot of great recipes. The one that we've talked about most of them, but the smoked peach bourbon naked beans would be one. Let's see.
It's baked beans.
There's so many things that you want to eat. I want to eat the peaches. I want to drink the bourbon. I want to eat the beans.
Peach bourbon baked beans.
Yeah.
Peach bourbon baked beans. Those are really, really good, man.
Oh, I said naked. It's baked.
Yeah, you said naked.
The N and the B are right next to each other on the keyboard.
Yeah.
So they're not naked beans; they're baked beans. Excuse me.
Well, I'd get a lot more views if I called it that, though. I tell you.
Probably. Hashtag naked beans. Really? Let me check it out. All right. So, all right, Ron. So hang on just a minute, and we'll thank everybody out there for watching, and we'll see you on the next show.